Hi, everybody. Welcome to Church Chat. It's great to be with you again. Today we have Esther Dutton with us, and so we're excited about that. We see Esther at church and everything, so it's nice to be able to just sit down with you, Esther, and catch up with you and see how things are going and everything. Catch us up on your life. What's happening in the things that you're doing in life?
Yeah, it's pretty basic, but I enjoy it nonetheless. I have two part-time jobs that I work. I work at a gym in Belgrade and then at Quantum Composers with my dad in Bozeman. And I do weightlifting a few times a week and do that for training to compete and that kind of thing. I help out with the youth group Wednesdays and Sundays and love all them to death. And yeah, that's pretty much the life of me, is church and work and that kind of thing. So yeah.
Well, that's great. So I've noticed that you've played your guitar and sung a couple of times. How did you kind of move toward doing that recently?
I've been learning guitar for probably a year and a half, 2 years now.
Uh-huh.
And it came about of me being bored one day after finishing my school, and I found my dad's guitar in the closet. So I decided to pick it up and just look stuff up on the internet and teach myself how to do it. And that's how it came.
So you've taught yourself. You haven't had any lessons or anything.
Nope. But I've taught myself everything and just kind of played around with it and that kind of thing. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's really fun. Well, you've done a nice job. I like the sound of your voice and everything. So it'll be fun to watch you develop in that and grow in that. Now you were involved at YAA this past summer, right?
Yes, I was. I worked up on their college staff this summer.
Great. How was this summer different from other summers that you were part of things?
Oh goodness. Programming and what we did during the day, because instead of coming together as a big group all the time, we had to stay as our separate little cabins with 10 or 12 people just to keep group sizes down. And
Right.
so we just kind of had to do different activities throughout the day and that kind of thing. But God could still work.
Uh-huh. For sure. Now, for some reason, you hung up on that last little bit there. You want to just share that again?
Yeah, totally. In a nutshell, it's even though that we had to be kind of different activities and that kind of thing, we could still see God working in all of the kids' lives regardless. And it was just really cool to see that no matter what had been going on through the year, and no matter what we had to change, God could still work through anything. And that was a really fun thing to witness.
That is really cool. What was your specific responsibilities this last summer?
I was a counselor, so I stayed in cabins with kids overnight and helped them through all their activities and stayed with them all week long.
That's got to be fun, but you were probably exhausted at the end of each week.
Oh yeah, it's exhausting, but it's so worth it.
Boy, those personal talks you can have and the impact you can have is a great thing. That's great. Share with me about your weightlifting. This is really interesting. How did you get started with it, and what's kinds of things are you involved with currently?
So I started CrossFit. Oh goodness, how long ago was that? A while ago, probably about 4 years ago was when I started CrossFit. And it was because my dad was doing the CrossFit classes and he heard of a kids class that they were starting. So I went and did that for a few months and I really enjoyed the lifting portion of it. So I started going to the adult lifting oriented classes so I could learn more about that. And after a while, the two owners of the gym and the two main coaches, that's Terry and Katie, they noticed that I was really enjoying it and I was super coachable and respectful. And they asked if I wanted to move over to the competitive Team Montana side. And so I started lifting over there and getting programming and training to lift competitively. And that was in the spring of 2017, I think is when I started training for competitions. And so I've been doing that for a few years now. It's Olympic style lifting. So however they compete in the Olympics is how I compete in my competitions with those two lifts. And it's just a really fun time and I just really enjoy it.
Now, what are the two lifts that you do?
I do the snatch and the clean and jerk. So the snatch is moving a barbell from the floor to overhead in one movement. And
Okay.
then the clean and jerk is moving the bar to overhead, ground to overhead with two movements. So it goes ground to chest and then chest to overhead.
Uh-huh. So what's the highest weight that you've done in those?
Oh goodness. For snatch, I just recently snatched 60 kilograms, which is
Wow.
about 130 pounds. And then clean and jerk, I've done 72 kilograms, which is a little around 160, I think a little under 160
Uh-huh.
per pounds.
Wow. Well, that's really great. So, like for your category, like at a national level, what kinds of weights are they lifting?
Oh goodness. Nationally, ooh, I couldn't really tell you. They're a little ways above. I think they'd probably be right around, snatch would be probably between 70 and 80 for like the top tier national athletes.
Right.
And it's
Uh-huh.
probably about the same ratio compared to my clean and jerk and nationally for the top tier athletes.
Uh-huh.
But at the state competition, I just qualified to go to nationals for my age group. So that's pretty exciting.
That is really great. Well, I wish you the best on that. I hope that goes really, really well for you. Um,
Thank you.
um, Catch me up as far as I know you do a lot on Sunday mornings back in the room there.
Yeah.
Tell me about some of the things that you have learned to do in helping on Sunday mornings.
Yeah, for sure. I normally do the lyric projection, which is if you see something changing on the screen, that's me doing stuff in the back and putting that up. So it's pretty simple. The most important part is just kind of paying attention to what's going on and seeing, if we're singing a certain line, you're going to make sure that's on the screen for people and
Huh?
kind of listening to how the music is going. If I kind of hear Billy or my dad going in a different direction with the song, you got to kind of just pay attention to where it's going. And same
Sure.
thing during the sermon is just listening for his key points and making sure verses are up on the screen. But that's pretty much what I've done for years, helping out with that on Sunday mornings.
Well, that's such a neat ministry and really, really powerful because that makes it so much more effective up front. Um, so how
Oh
does
yeah.
that work now with the doing internet plus doing the screen up front? I've wondered when you project a certain lyrics up front, does that automatically project
Yeah.
onto the screen?
Yep, it automatically goes to the screen up front and the live stream. They just look a little bit different. For the screen up in the sanctuary, you can fill the whole screen with the lyrics in the background and stuff. But with the live stream, it kind of changes it with a different program that runs, and it just puts the lyrics on, I think, the bottom third or the top third of the screen. So you just see the lyrics, and then you can still see everybody up on stage as well.
See, that's really complicated. I mean, it's nice you got all the computer to help you, but I appreciate
Oh, yeah.
that, and I gather that you would love to have some help back there. So if people in the church
Oh,
want
for
to help.
sure. Tech
Um,
team will need lots of volunteers as stuff gets growing right now. It would be awesome to have more people interested to
yeah.
help us out.
So is there something that you would like to do that you can't do right now until you get more volunteers, or just
um, Yeah, not necessarily. Well, sort of. Honestly, it would just free up people to, like, some people would like to sit with their families a little bit more on Sunday service. And since we're in the back, we can't necessarily do that. Or if
right?
I wanted to get more involved with worship team and kind of playing on Sunday mornings with guitar and singing and that stuff, we need a couple more volunteers that could help out with like the lyric projection or the sound and that kind of thing so that us who are back there as volunteers don't have to be back there every single week and it would just kind of rotate through instead.
Now, is it fairly easy to learn this stuff? I mean, it, or do you have
Oh,
to have some
certainly,
technical
yes.
technical background?
Um, you don't really need a bunch of technical background, especially for like my job. It's mostly clicking a space bar to change the slide or clicking on a different one if it's different. And running cameras is probably pretty similar. And it's, if you're willing to learn, you'll be able to pick it up pretty easy.
Cool. Well, that's good. Well, maybe somebody that's watching will have an interest in it and want
Oh yeah, that would be awesome.
to be part of that. Why don't you catch me up on the youth group, how they're doing, and maybe a highlight or two of something that's happened recently for you guys.
Yeah, the youth group has been growing so much recently, and it's really cool. We've gained a lot of new people that have come in since we got Jeremy as our youth intern. And so he's doing an amazing job just building relationships with them too. And they love him to death, which has been really cool for us to see. They listen to the lessons and they're learning a whole bunch. You can ask them the next week and be like, hey, what was this we talked about last week? And it's like, oh, it was this. And oftentimes there's a little joke attached to the side of it, but they get the main point of it, which is really cool to just see them actually learning and keeping what they've learned on a Wednesday night. And it's just awesome to see all of them grow and ask some questions and that kind of thing. So it's really, really cool to be working with them.
Oh, good. Well, I'm glad. So you built some good friendships, it sounds like, as a leadership team.
Oh, for sure. We have meetings every so often. Before COVID hit, we're going to try and get together, but then that happened. And so we weren't able to for a little while. And so just recently we got all together and had lunch and just hung out and we're talking the whole time. And us leaders have a good time together when we get to hang out.
You know, that makes such a difference. I think the kids see that. If you really like each other, I think the kids pick up on that, and so that's wonderful. That's great that, that you do that. Um, what are some things that are on your heart for your own, like maybe something that that you have a heart to share with people that you would like people to know, either about you or about the Lord or something like that?
Oh goodness. We'll go with my favorite verse. It's connected to one of my tattoos I have actually. One of my tattoos, it's the mountains of the sunshine, and it says "He is in it," and that's coming from I can't think of the verse, but it's connecting with when Moses was talking to the burning bush, and he says, you know, I am has sent you, and I am who I am, and that's just all he says, and that's one of his names. And it goes forward to when Jesus is in the garden, and the soldiers are coming to arrest him, and they're asking, you know, who's Jesus, or where they're looking for him, and he says, I am he, and in the Greek it actually just translates to I am. And in that moment the soldiers fall to the ground, and it's just shows you the power of what's behind his name of I am. And it's just a really cool reminder to me that he's not stating specifically what he is. He's just saying I am, and he's everything that you could ever need. Like, he's your strength, he's your comfort, and he's everything. So that's why my tattoo says he is, because it's the little fill in the blank of, okay, he's my strength, okay, he's my comfort, and that kind of thing. And yeah, the strength part is one that's a little bit closer to me, just because I try to do stuff by myself a lot. And so knowing that God's there and he is my strength for when I need it is a really good reminder of I don't have to do anything alone, and I don't have to be alone ever. So, yeah.
Boy, having God's strength there and his help is so good. That would be an awesome scene, wouldn't it be, in a movie where he says, I am, and like
yes.
just die, you know, and, oh, okay, well, if you want to,
it would be so cool.
I'll let you now, come on up, you know.
Yep.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
That is an awesome word, that ever-present God, and it's so nice to know that he's with us and he cares, and that's a wonderful help. So tell me about your work with your CrossFit and things like that. What do you do on the job?
Yeah, when I'm at the gym, I kind of am just there during open gym for if people are coming in and out and if they need help. And I do some cleaning stuff and that kind of thing. And then once a week, I also have a little kids class with little it's like K through fourth grade, and I get to take them through a little CrossFit class. We play some games and we do a workout and we learn the movements. And so with them, it's just kind of helping them learn that fitness is a fun thing and it doesn't have to be a, oh, I have to go to the gym and work out. It's trying to build a different relationship with fitness while they're younger. And so it's just really fun to have them for an hour a week hanging out with them and playing games and having a good time.
That's great. Now, you've always loved kids, right?
Oh, for sure. I've really enjoyed working with kids from as long as I could really remember being able to work with them. So
Mhm.
that's why camp was also a really big part of my life, that I could go and work with kids all summer long.
Mhm. You bet. What is it about kids that you like?
Oh, goodness. I don't even know. They're so open to learn. And so they're like sponges at a certain age, and they're just taking everything in that they can. And there's just, I don't know, I love just how happy they are all the time, and it's really just cool to watch kids grow and develop as they're learning new things and they're getting their own unique personalities, and
Mhm.
they're just so cool to watch start as little kids and slowly start growing up, and watching them develop, I guess, is just a really fun thing that I like to do.
So, Esther, is there something that, in being raised in your home and everything, both you and your sister love the Lord and are following Him? What are some of the things you think that maybe helped to create an atmosphere in your home that made you guys want to love the Lord and follow Him?
Yeah, Kayla and I both grew up with mom and dad, and we always went to church in the mornings and that kind of thing. And we were just really involved with whatever was going on for like our age. So Kayla would go to youth group all the time, and I'd go to Awana, and then I went to youth group when I was old enough. And it just put us into that atmosphere where we would just really learn about Christ and be given those chances to accept Christ or grow with Him and that kind of thing. And so we were just given really good opportunities to get to know God and really invest in our relationship with Him. And for me, one of the main spots that I can think of where I really chose to make my relationship with God my own and really pursue it personally was my first and second years on staff up at Yellowstone Alliance Adventures when I was a high school student. And it just was my first real decision to be like, okay, I want to go do this because I feel like God's calling me to it. And it was just amazing times of growth and seeing how real God was and that kind of thing. And that's one of the main spots that sticks out in my life when I really made my relationship personal instead of just, oh, yeah, I go to church and that kind of thing.
Yeah. YAA has that impact. It seems like there's a number of students who have really been touched. What is it about the atmosphere up there you think that causes students to be really grow and be strong?
I don't even know. It's years of people praying over the area, and it's the amazing people that God calls there. I don't think it's anything that we could put together ourselves. It's something that God always orchestrates and makes happen. So it's just a cool thing to watch come together.
It really is. And it's really fun to see the impact of that in your lives and everything like that. Well, Esther, it's been so nice to just catch up with you and get a chance to, you know,
Yeah.
it's unusual for us, I think, in the church sometimes to be able to sit down and just chat for a half hour to catch up with
Mhm.
people and see how things are going and everything. And I'm so grateful for the opportunity to chat with you. And I respect you so much. I just appreciate your heart and the direction that God's got going for you. And I'm looking forward to the future to see what God has planned for you and the direction that you're going. And so I just encourage you that just keep at it. And that endurance in the Lord, I think, is really tough because there's sometimes that are just hard as a Christian. But then if we can just have endurance and keep
Yeah.
hanging in there, the end result is so good for us because we can then become strong and effective people. And I see God doing that in you, and so I just wish you the best in all of those pursuits. And so thank you for
Yeah,
spending
thank
time
you
with
so
us today.
much.
It means a lot to us for you to take time to share, and we look forward to seeing you around. I can't wait to get back to
For
church. It's
sure.
killing me, not be there.
Oh yeah.
So I'm looking forward to, when we can settle back in here in the next few months. So thanks for your time, and really enjoyed, chatting with you and catching up with you, and wonderful to hear about your life and the things that God's doing for you.
Yes, of course. Thank you.
You bet. Have a great day.
You as well.
Thanks. Bye. Thanks for joining us on Church Chat this morning. I hope you enjoyed the interview. We look forward each week to having another interview with some new people from the church and some people who have been around the church for a while. We just look forward to this time of fellowship with COVID. It's an opportunity for us to have a little bit more personal interaction. And so we look forward to being with you each week. And thank you so much for joining us this week.